Crafter here, and today I thought I'd do these camera boxes that's from Simply Made Crafts, and these are designed by Helen Griffin. There's several of these dies sets that she does. This is one of them, and then you've got a spine, and then you've got the mini album there. And also in here I've also got what I've cut up and popped in this box is this particular one, which is the shutter die. So I've just took them out of the boxes and put them on magnet sheets, and I've also done that with these as well, because these are an awful lot of dies within this set, so it just makes it a lot easier to see. So what I'm going to do is get them all cut up and show you what we've built up so far. So I've cut all the cards out, and I've just used the stamping card from Crafter's Companion, and I'm just using the plain white. This is a 300 GSM, so it's a really good weight to do. This is kind of like a model rail, if you like, so it's really good sturdy stuff. And because it was asked of me to do a mermaid stroke baby mini album camera, these are the papers I'm going with for this. So I've cut all them out, and then we're going to assemble everything up. I think I might do this in a few different videos, so we'll do the camera first, the base and all the papers and the flash and everything, and then I'll do the mini album one, and then we'll do the decorating. So without further ado, let's get on with making the actual camera base itself. So we've got all the pieces cut out, and we're going to be using just the plain white cardstock to begin with. And for this you're going to need 2 of this shape, which is your top and your base, 2 of the main square, which is your front and your back, and you need two of the thinner slice pieces that look like this, and then you need 4 of this size. So the first thing to do is we're going to bone fold all the pieces. Take a bone folder and give it a really good crease line on all of them. So we're going to take this bottom piece here, so we just need one of those to begin with, and then I actually like to start with the square piece, because this determines, because there's such a slight, ever so slight difference, so we need to measure up which side this one actually goes on, which it is this one, I think. Just double check with that. Yeah, so you could see here that if we put it on this side, we would end up with a gap here, which that's not what we want. So we want to be gluing this side. So we're just taking the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to apply this. I like to use the wet glue because it gives me that time to manipulate. So then we're going to glue all these pieces on. And I want to make sure you're getting right to the edges. And then we're just going to put this on and marry it up. And I'm just going to take that to make sure it's butted into there. So as you can see, that's nice and flush. And then once we're happy with that, take the bone folder again and press that down, and I'll turn it over and press that down again. And then we want one of the bigger pieces that's the wider piece, and we're just going to carry on gluing all these on. So I'll fast forward whilst doing that, so you don't have to listen to me rabbit on. realise actually whilst I was building this, and I did try to take it off, but this Nuvo glue, once it's on, it's on. Like, you have got a little bit of playtime is immovable, but not to take it off because I'd bone folded it on and stuff. What I should have done was actually hook these tabs underneath onto this piece, if that makes sense. It shouldn't really make any difference because when I'm doing it all, I will be doing a liner and I will put those in there, so then that will stop them from being seen. So this is the kind of things, it's kind of like an elongated star, if you like. So the next thing to do is to glue all these tabs inside each other. So that's what we're going to do next. And if you just support it under your arm, under your hand, sorry, while you go, because obviously these are corners, so just make a nice and neat finish. So that's that part of the box done. Now, ordinarily we would go in now and put the lid on, but to make it easier for me, what I want to do is cut some pieces so that I hide all of this ugliness inside. So that's what I'm going to do next. Right, so I've cut a further base out. I haven't actually used the stamping card for this. I've just used some cheaper version of cards. I think it's something like 210 GSM, because this is only really to hide the ugliness. Plus, it will give some extra substantialness. If you really want to, you can cut it out in the full stamping card, so you would end up with 600 GSM on the camera itself. So I've done that, and then I've cut two pieces out, and this is what I've measured it out for each square, and it's 10.1, which is the height, and this is by 11. So we've got two of those, and then we've got 4, which is 10.1 by 3.8, and then we've got 10.1 by 3.1. And all I'm going to do is glue all them on the inside, obviously not with the markings showing, and like I say, I've literally just used scraps for this, so it's a mixture of different cards really. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is actually put the hinge on the back first, so because obviously this would show, and at least this would hide the ugliness of this one again. So we just need to bone fold this over. And then I just need to decide which one I think looks the neatest from the front, because this will go on the back. And I believe this is a neater front for me. So I'm going to put this on the back there. So I've got that in, and now I'm just going to place all these pieces in. So on this piece we're not going to have a hinge on this section because we're going to have the hinge on the lid itself, but we are going to have a hinge on these. So again, you want to take your smaller hinge pieces, so you've got your large and your small hinge, and then we're just going to place a hinge on here and a hinge on there, which I should have really done all the hinges in one go really, but hey ho. Before I glue this in, I actually want to put a magnet in here, so I'm going to be gluing in these small craft magnets from Tonic Studios, and it's saying the 10mm by 0.8mm, so I'm just going to attach those in. So I'll place that in, and I just want to actually put a bit of tape over that just to secure it even more so. And now I can glue this bit in. Just got to put the base in now. So that's everything all lined. I did mess up somewhat here in the corner. I should have budged it up a little bit, but it really makes no odds. Like I say, it's literally only for aesthetics anyway, but it has given a real good sturdiness to this the base of the box. So the thing to do now is to crack on with the lid. With the lid, we now need to put on the opposite hinges of what we was doing on the base. So we need a hinge here, here and here. So we need to bone fold all the hinges up. So we're just going to attach these, but I'm actually using the base, the liner as such, because you'll see why in a bit. So on the back, I'm actually going to try and use the smaller hinges, because when I've done these in the past, they always seem to catch. So I'm thinking maybe the smaller hinge won't catch as much, but it'll still manage to be able to go into the box. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just kind of centralising that piece. I'm going to leave that to one side. And then we're going to come on to the flash itself. So we've got lots of score lines in here, so we're going to score all these lines in. Again, using that bone folder. So you're going to take one of these pieces, and then we're going to glue all these little tags inside of there. It can get a little bit fiddly, this though. So sorry about that, my camera died, I didn't actually realise. So all I've done is I've finished putting this together, and I've glued the tabs at the bottom and secured it with some paper clips while that glue sets off. And then we're just going to put that to one side for now. So the next thing we're going to do, we're just going to take our decorative papers and we're going to adhere these onto it. So as you've seen in the beginning, I'm going to be using these mermaid papers, which I'm not too sure over what stack it was, but I will put a picture or something in to show which paper pad it was, because I think this was actually gifted to me as well, so I couldn't even tell you where it was bought from, unfortunately. One thing about using the papers though, if you're going to use pattern papers like this, is that you do need to make sure it's the right way up. So like I ended up using a couple of pieces of the 12 by 12 of this particular card because I wanted the papers, the lid would go opposite way, so I wanted to make sure the mermaids was all facing the correct way, so just be mindful of that. And you could actually, and it does make things easier in the long run, decorate the papers up before you actually assemble, so you could apply them on. I didn't do it that way for some reason. The base decorated up and looks very, very pretty. It proper comes to life. I've even put it on the bottom as well, so it's not just plain white. And again, making sure that this is going to be the front, so if you twisted it this way, the mermaid's going to be the right way round. So let's put that to one side. Then we'll go to the topper, and we're going to put this topper on as well for the top. We're going to go back to the flash and remove all the paper clips. And all I've done is I've die cutted all the pieces in silver mirror card. Obviously you don't have to have silver mirror card, it's entirely up to yourself, but I just feel like this is more appropriate and flash looking. So that's what we're going to adhere these onto now. That's the flash all done and complete, so all we need to do is adhere it to the lid. And this is why I didn't want to put the lid onto the camera yet, because this, keeping it flat, will make it easier to glue on, because it's never ever straight. As you can see, there's a gap. I don't know, every time I do it, it always seems to have this gap there, which is somewhat irritating, but it is what it is. So I'm actually just going to glue this piece onto there, and then I'll glue this onto here. Even though it's still going to have this gap here, it's hopefully going to be a little bit better. We'll see anyway, so we're just going to apply this onto here, and then I'm going to let that dry. I'm just trying to centralise it as much as possible. And I'm just going to add a little bit of pressure, not too much to squish the box, but enough to keep it there. Well, we're going to come back to this piece, and we're going to stick this hinge onto here now. You can see that closes lovely. We need to attach this magnet as well. So put the magnet on the back of the other magnet, and then it's going to stick to here hopefully, if we can catch it. So we've got the magnet put on, and that does close up lovely, it clips on. So but I want to hide the actual magnet, so I'm just going to take another hinge and place that over the top to cover that up. That's nice and closed in, and then all we need to do now is attach this onto here. All we need to do now is the shutter for the actual camera, and then that will be the camera complete. So we'll do that in the next video.